Okay, so welcome to another episode of Golang tutorial. In this episode, I've decided to talk about a very specific thing of how do you do object-oriented programming in Go, because usually Go is not actually a oriented programming language. It's more of a structural type. So in this episode we'll try to explore it and how do you um, work your way through it. Yeah, so if you're coming from Java, you're probably familiar with OOP concepts, right? So you do have this uh, six object-oriented programming concept. So we'll probably start off by just going through example. um, we go through we start off with the object, and then we go through the class and all the stuff. Okay, so let's say in this case we're gonna start off by creating a class. Okay, so let's create a file. um on this we call it our main class, which is animal. Okay. Okay, we kind of lost the sevens, so we just type it out. We just want to go through the 7 classes. 6 actually. Objects. Abstraction and inheritance. Right. So for this example, we're gonna use animal as a as our next main example. So let's try to create. You don't have classes in Go, so usually use a struct. You just type. Just call it animal, and then call it struct, right? And then oh, why there's a red here? Let's just create a package OB. Okay, you need to put it inside the package. So now this is your equivalent to a Java class, but it's not actually a class, but it's more of like a structure, right? So we need to have some attribute, which in this case, let's put a name, which is name, which is a string, simple type in Golang. Right. So this is it. You have your type now. Now, if you want to like invoke this animal, or like create a object for this, you normally do something like a equals animal, and then you assign your name to Pinky. Yeah, and then you do a print a that name, right? and then you do, let's try to run it. Go run animal. Maybe just something like that. Go run animal, let's go. Let's oh, you need to be in a package main, right? Yeah, it needs to be in a package main. So let's create inside there, we create a main. Let's go. Unknown field instruct. So this animal has a name, but you can't access from here. It needs to be capital. It's on different package. So let's try to run this thing. CDOB or run main.go. Okay, there you go. It shows Pinky. So you got the first part, which is an object. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna create some attribute where, yeah, we already added an attribute there. Well, we try to add some methods. For example, on the animal, there's animal have animal sound, which is how do you add method in Go? In Golang, you normally do something like this. It's an implicit typing where you just animal, then animal sound. Called animal sound. Basically, you return me. So when you go here, you can do something like animal sound, which will eventually run that yeah, there you go. So you do have a behavior now, which is doing a met sound, right? Yeah. So how do you do constructor? Constructor is basically like a special method, right, inside where it initializes the object. So instead of you trying to initialize here, you could initialize this in a special method. So in Golang, you typically do create something like this. Animal, then call it new which return the one that you place here, this one. Which it returns type animal. Remove this. right? There's also a new keyword which you can do something like this, equals new, and then you pass the type, then a that name takes to a pinky, pinky, right? Now you can make this turn a, then you do a pointer. Instead of calling this, you do a new animal types. Yeah. Then let's try it out. Okay, there you go. So this is what you, this is how do you do a constructor inside a Golang. Basically create a method that you assign a pointer to that. So yeah, that's the constructors, right? So let's go to modifiers. Golang doesn't have like a multiple modifiers like Java, where you have 4 different types of modifiers. In this case, usually it's more a simpler language. Like for encapsulation, like you only use private and public. So for the way private works is, for this package, it's package control. The level is that those who can access the package level. So in this case, if you put a capital here, everyone around this package will be accessible. So if I make this small letter, you need to make this small letter. So you got it that you cannot access this anymore. So in order for you to access that, you need to create another method called, just create another method called name, right? Which allow you to access the name method if you want to access the name. This is a string. Undeclared name, okay, a.name. If you want to expose it, so in this case, you should, it's not a field, it's a method. Still the same. So if you make it small letter, you cannot access it from outside the bag. This is your main, and the other one is like your it's in the package types. The other one is package main. Inheritance. Okay, let's go to inheritance. So in this case, we want to create another type, right? Which like extends this. In Java you normally extends, but in Golang you don't have extends, so you create another called pick.go. Package types, it's fine. And similarly, you have this type pig. It's a struct. And how do you do inheritance? God does a concept called composition. So embedded composition. So instead of like doing an extend, you could do something like animal here, and that basically allows you to access the fields of the animal, which is the name. Okay, so if you go here, I wanna, let's say I wanna create a pig type, right? So let's create a constructor here. Let's copy this. New pig. Call a new pig. There you go. I could directly access it. Dot name. But if you're, let's say you're gonna do it in a one-liner, I don't think this syntax is allowed. So let's try to do it in a single line. Like for example, something like this: pig, and then name is equal to Pinky, right? You want to do something like this. This is not allowed. Yeah, that's how you do it. Or you could do something like animal colon. Yeah, but you could omit this part as well. So this is how you then when you go here, call new pig. Let's see if we can print the name. Yeah, there you go. So inheritance is done by using embedded type by just putting it here. I think you can do something like this as well. Not sure if you tried something like this. Yeah, so if you do it something like that, you just have to something like this. Yeah, but I would prefer to just make it as a pointer. Like, yeah. It doesn't matter. You could do something like this if you don't want to make it as a pointer. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so that's for inheritance. How about polymorphism? Okay, let's talk about polymorphism. Basically, we use an interface here. Now, there's no concept of polymorphism but okay, so maybe let's talk about interface first, because that's kind of like much better. So so if you go for the interface, let's create for our animal sound, right? Okay, let's create an interface called interface sound, and then we move this animal sound inside here. So mostly the interface is just definition. So in this case, you just do something like this. I think something like that. Type interface. How you do this? Yeah. So now, the way interface works in Golang, it's implicit. You don't even have to like implement this. It automatically, as long as you have the same method, it knows that, yeah, this is basically implicitly animal sound interface. So it knows that it's a sound. So the way you do polymorphism now in Golang is something like this. So you assign it to A, A is a new pig, but A is a type of, let's say we create a var A, which is a type of sound, right? Okay, type var V is a sound, and then I assign B to A, right? Then what we're gonna do is print the value of B dot animal sound. So you should do see me here. Okay, yeah. So there you go. That's how you now it knows that it's a sound interface. That's how you do polymorphism in Golang. You don't have to manually implement it because it's just implicitly automatically in Golang, which makes your life easier. Okay, let's put another yeah, that's probably do sound or something. Do speak like that. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's mostly all the concept here from the list that we have taken. Abstraction, there's no abstract class in abstraction in Golang. It's just interface. Let's for example, yeah, you don't really define it because you can't really define. It's just implicitly done, so you don't really have to define all your methods here and all the stuff. So it just Golang just knows that, hey, this is it. This is like also an interface of sound. Yeah. So what else did we miss? Yeah, I guess that's it. So you do have a yeah. Interestingly, packages also in Golang, you cannot have two main in the same folder, and you cannot have two different package in the same folder. That's just so for me, I have to create another type because the main can only run in the main, right? Yeah, so I can only have one main on the top. Then I could just create all the other ones on the. If I need some more package, I create some more folders here. Like for the types, I have animals and I have pig. Yep. Yeah. So if you're typically doing this Java, you do have a class which is like you create classes, right? But in this case, you just create type struct. So yeah, that's just a basic of it, how you do object-oriented programming here in Golang. I hope you like this short video. Feel free to like and subscribe if you like it. Yeah, thank you for watching.